Oh, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I am a little bit behind this morning. Wednesdays, I have a meeting with my son's therapy team to get abreast on what's going on. Good morning, Outspoken. I guess it's just me and you first thing this morning. Good morning, everybody. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. Hey, T. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Happy Wednesday, May 6th. We have made it to Hump Day. I hope you guys enjoyed Cinco de Mayo yesterday. Actually, where my son goes to, thank you, Kaios, Politics in Plain English. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, we did Taco Tuesday for all of the therapists at where he goes. So I spearheaded that yesterday. We had a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of the employees and different new faces, old faces, but something just to give back to show our appreciation for taking care of our kiddos and investing in who they are and helping them progress in whatever way. Hey, how are you? That's right, Palisa in the house. But other than that, I'm great. It is a breezy morning here on the East Coast this morning. But anywho, welcome to Politics in Plain English, where we talk current political events and explain what's happening and why it's happening and what it actually means. So this morning, we're going to go through a list of things that are not going well for the GOP and how it's affecting us. We're also going to review what happened last night in elections. We're going to also look at the gubernatorial race, what it looks like, as a whole picture. And we're going to talk about pretty much how unfit this person is, right? We're going to go through that because the news cycle moves so fast all the time that sometimes we don't get to see some of the other things that are really going on and really happening that will affect everyday people like you. So we're going to go through that a little bit, but we always hit some high level things. We know Candace Owens has released some text messages between her and the late Charlie Kirk. Okay. I don't like him, but I do think that assassination was planned. I think that was a part of the play. We're going to look at just an array of different things. Like we're going to look at what some of the independent voters are saying today. We're going to look at that. We're going to also look at JD Vance. We're going to take a peek into him. How he's not really fit either, right? And we're going to take a look at, hey, YTC. We're going to take a look at what has happened with Gaza, what it actually looks like, and how is not real. Israel has really committed genocide over there. So we're just going to look at a couple of things for sure. So for starters, let's look at the elections that happened last night, the special elections and things like that. So for starters, Dr. Amy Acton, she wins the primary for the governor of Ohio. This is major. We know Ohio is a swing state per the Electoral College. This is an important state to win. She won the primary in big fashion yesterday for the Ohio bid. So she will be the Democratic nominee for that. Also, we had last night in Michigan. Michigan is a tricky one because we know Michigan has a Democratic governor who take no shit. Hey V, who takes no shit. Okay. They also had an assassination attempt a few years ago on her very life. But this Democrat, he won. Chedrick Green won the Michigan special election yesterday, which now flips Michigan's Senate yesterday, state Senate. So now it is in the hands of the Democrats. Okay. And speaking of Ohio, y'all remember Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown wins the primary for Senate, and he is a solid one. He is a solid one. He takes no punches. He keeps it funky, and he is really for the people. Like, he really, really is. And thank you guys for entering in. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please hit like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend, and come on in. Okay. Sherrod Brown is formidable, because I think what we have to understand that every state cannot have the same type of Democrat running, the same way that, New York City has their type of mayor that may not work in, say, a South Carolina, right? So we have to look at the areas where people are running at and really curtail to that demographic. We have to get a lot better in that, because Republicans do really, really well with doing that. And as a whole, the gubernatorial races for the upcoming, as of right now, what it looks like. And the governor's races matter. The reason why governor's races matter, governors can expand Medicaid and Medicare coverage. Governors can put mandates up for things. Governors can refuse to turn over voter polls. Hey, Ms. Toby. Governors can also make sure the elections are fair and free. Governors can also make sure that, good morning. Governors can also make sure that your education, your board of education is being funded. The governors have a lot of power. As you can see, Spanberger in Virginia is showing her power right now. So these are important. And as you can see, there are 5 seats that are toss up, which I do think that they will lean blue, because even Republicans are sick and tired of their mess, as I showed you guys yesterday, how sick and tired they actually are. So that is like a holistic view of that, shall I say. And y'all know what we do every day. We talk about what? The gas prices. So, yep, voting by mail. If you can vote by mail, go ahead. If you want to wait to the day of, go ahead. If you can do early voting in a precinct, everybody needs to be checking their voter registration, making sure you know exactly where to go, making sure your information is correct, and making sure you're still on, the voter roll, because they do purge from time to time. So especially if you're in a red state, they're really good at purging the voter roll. So make sure that you are up to date and up to breast on all of those things. So y'all know every morning we look at the gas price, right? Every morning we take a look. And gas prices overnight have reached a national average of $4.50. Yes. Gas prices have surged nationally $4.50. Yes, California now is like $7, I believe it is. I know New York is hanging around $6, but for a national average of $4.50 for regular gas is crazy. Okay. This is crazy work. This morning when I was on my way to take my son to speech therapy, I looked at the gas station and it said regular gas, and this is in Charlotte, North Carolina. It said $4.29 for regular gas. And we haven't even gotten to the summer months. Good morning, everybody coming in. $4.29 here in North Carolina. So can you imagine at these New York, California, Seattle, Chicago, even Miami, Florida, these gas prices are outrageous. And there are no signs of it slowing up yet. And you know what else is outrageous? Just take a look at this. Let's do a compare and contrast today, guys. So this is the Trump effect. Girl, right. It was 419 yesterday for us. This, and I'm going to say this. Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something? I think that, those racist folks, they will be willing to pay $10 a gallon for gas as long as Black people can't vote. I said it. I said it. I said it. There it is. I said it. I think, lean in. I think that these racist folks would pay $10 a gallon as long as Black people could not vote. Because again, we know why we got here. It wasn't because there was a lack of being aware of what was going on, what was in Project 2025. As long as they can prevent, because who is the biggest voting population? Black women, right? So yes, they do want to take away women's rights. They don't want women to be educated. They don't want them to work. They want them to have children and be at home, and they want them to not be able to vote because women vote at a larger rate than anybody. But as long as Black folk cannot vote, they will go to that pump and pay $10 a gallon. I said it. People can be mad. I already be getting hateful comments left underneath my videos. I don't care, because it is the truth. Because if you would think jeopardizing your child's health insurance wasn't enough, jeopardizing your grandparents' Medicare and Medicaid wasn't enough, jeopardizing your child's education wasn't enough, right? The quality of education wasn't enough. Jeopardizing your own health care. And if you live in rural America, jeopardizing the fact that you will not have a hospital close to you wasn't enough, right? To say, wait a minute, this is a bridge too far. We know that $10 a gallon for them folk, good morning, boo, $10 a gallon for them folk, those racist folks, they will gladly pay that $10 a gallon as long as Black folks can't vote. My personal opinion. But what we have here, it is called, I said it, Paul Graves, I said it, okay? But what we have here is what we call the Trump effect, right? So on the left side, you're going to see when Biden left office. And on the right side, you're going to see as of today, underneath Donald Trump, what these prices are. So first thing is gas, $4.46. We know it's $4.50, right? When Biden left office, it was $3.11 a gallon. For electricity has went up about $1. Okay. For an oil barrels are now $115 a barrel. When Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Falling Joe, left office, it was $76 a barrel. heating oil, okay, was $2.50 a gallon. You know, the heating oil that you use if you have gas in your house, that it was $2.50 a gallon. But that's when Biden left office. But now it is $3.91. It's on the teeter of being $4 a gallon. Okay. And then let's talk about beef. $5.79 when Biden left office to now $9.50 a pound. Baby. So now we're looking at $10 burgers. $10 burgers. Bread, as of today, is about the same. I think it's actually a little bit more, if you ask me. I think it's the type of bread. But this is ground turkey is going up. Your chicken is going up. So my son loves chicken breast, right? And I used to get a pound of chicken breast. Like, I get them cut fresh down at the Harris to the Teeter. I call it Harris to the Teeter, Harris Teeter. Go back there to the butcher section and get them cut fresh. And I used to get a pound for like $3. Now a pound is like $6. Okay. My son loves bacon. A pound of bacon is like $10 now. His juice. He drinks Honest apple juice. That is his favorite juice. He loves it. Right? It used to be $1.98 for a pack of 8. It is now almost $5. Yep. It is almost $5. This is going to send us in not a recession, but a global depression, because we have people in office that are grifters and have no idea of what they're doing. This is by far, this is pandemic, worse than the pandemic numbers. Remember when we was in the pandemic? And how numbers were out of this world for things. This right here is sending people can't get to work because gas is so high, because they have to choose between filling up their gas tank and filling up their refrigerator. They have to choose between their electricity bill or buying some extra snacks. They're having to choose between which medicines to buy and to pay their gas bill. Like, these are the things that are crazy right now. And is literally hitting people real time. Small businesses are struggling because, yes, Donald Trump said he's going to put more tariffs on Europe and China because he doesn't like it that they're not helping him with the Strait of Hormuz when there was nothing wrong with the Strait of Hormuz. Small businesses will have to close down because they are suffering because they can't keep up. They can't keep up with food prices. They can't keep up with the supply prices. They just can't keep up. They really can't. Their electricity is going up. They cannot keep up with this thing. All the fruit is bad. Hey, Phoebe, all the fruit is bad. Our produce is not as fresh as it used to be. It's not even coming in on time anymore, because remember, he stripped the CDL licensure away from immigrants. So, you know, those Hispanic folks who were driving trucks and things like that. He stripped that away from them, told them they can't drive trucks. So there's like a shortage there. There's also a shortage of people working on farms, and there's a shortage of food because we don't have fertilizer. And I showed you guys last week farmers talking about they don't have fertilizer. Okay? Yes, tariffs are on the back of the consumer because here's how it works. Let me break it down for you guys that don't understand. So, you see these AirPods, right? These are the AirPods that are shipped from China, right? So, the AirPods are shipped from China and we're paying to get it across, right? But when they get to the US water, the what do you call it? The dock, it gets to the US dock, they will not release it to the business that is coming to pick this up. They won't release it to the company that's coming to pick this up. So because there's a tariff that's sitting there, we won't release this to you until you pay that extra $2,000 tariff that we have on this box of AirPods. Okay. All right, follow me here. I'm going to give you guys a lesson. So then the company has to pay on top of the cost it was to already get them over here, right? So say China, a manufacturer charged them $5,000 for this box of a bunch of box of AirPods, right? So they have this, when they get there, they say you have to pay an extra $2,000 for us to release it to you. So now what used to be a box for $5,000 now is $7,000, right? So in order to recoup what they paid to get that big box of AirPods, guess who's going to hit it? It is then going to go on the actual individual price of these AirPods that who is going to buy? The consumer. That is how tariffs work. China does not pay the tariffs. The company has to pay for the tariffs in order for the product to be released. And then what they do is they add it on the actual cost of the item to recoup their funds. It is an extra fund that is placed on the consumer. That is how tariffs work. You see your t-shirts and things that are made in Indonesia, that are made in Turkey, jeans, wonderful, beautiful jean manufacturers in Turkey, right? So especially if you shop at Zara and Gap and all these great stuff. Hey, Room Shaker. So you get jeans and you go and you get their jeans. Well, they're buying their jeans, each jean for $20 a pair, right? But it is an extra $15 on each jean for a tariff. So what they were getting for $25 now is $35. So then guess what's going to happen? You no longer get that jean for $50. Now they're going to charge you probably about close to $75. That's how that goes. That's how tariffs work. But yet, we're supposed to be getting a fat check to refund us on tariffs. We have not gotten that yet. Where is this? Where is that $2,000 check? Where is it at? And what's funny is that they're really quick to spend money on things that don't even need to be spent money on. But when it comes to literally everyday citizens and funding America, such as healthcare, such as lowering the price of produce, such as actually creating jobs, they're failing. They're failing. But here's what they don't have a problem with right here. So, the ballroom. That ballroom that he said was going to be privately funded, right? The ballroom went from 200 million and privately funded to 300 million to 400 million, and taxpayers cover some cost of it, right? Now, Congress, the MAGA Congress, is trying to silently jam through a $1 billion bill. A $1 billion bill, which 100% of our tax money would pay for. If you look at that red line right there, line 15 in this bill, it states the Treasury not otherwise appropriated $1 billion from your taxpaying dollars. This is what they want to do with money. And do you know $1 billion, this $1 billion, you know what $1 billion would do? $1 billion would give every teacher in America a $15,000 bonus. Do you know that it would wipe out so much medical debt? Do you also know that it would fund SNAP benefits for years? We have bridges, we have infrastructure that needs to be tended to, which would give people jobs because we need people to repair roads and bridges and tunnels. Why not put people to work, right? You can create federal jobs for this, but instead, he says he wants to wipe out employment. Y'all saw it yesterday. He said he wants to wipe out employment with the stroke of a pen. That's what he said. And he's also, this is why I can't take them serious. He wants to allow oil companies to legally kill polar bears in Alaska. These outlandish things that he wants to do. He wants to do everything but actually help the economy and help the everyday person survive and maintain their households. Make sure their children can get a good quality education. Okay. He wants to do everything but that. He wants to do everything but that. But instead, right? Instead, he wants to freeze paying, because we know he don't like to pay nobody back. This is why he filed bankruptcy so many times. Polar bears, why? Because if they can kill the polar bears off, then they can drill. They can take over that land. See, there's land that no one can touch. There's land that no one can touch. You can't build on. You can't buy any of that stuff, right? And it's safe spaces for our animals to be. So what he wants to do, he wants to allow people to just be buying land and kill up the animals or whatever the case may be so they can drill or build whatever. He doesn't think we need animals to survive. Okay, it's called the circle of life. If you've never seen Lion King, hey, whatever. Instead, he wants to freeze what he owes, what the court said he owes, not once, but twice. $83 million for E. Jane Carroll, because he was found liable for sexually harassing this woman. Okay. Okay. He wants to destroy the environment. Like, I don't think y'all understand like how serious this is. The national debt has been being physical responsible with this administration. is an afterthought. The national debt creeps up to 39 trillion with a T. $39 trillion. Trillion dollars. You don't pay, sweetheart, you don't pay school taxes. You pay home taxes. Your home taxes are depending on the school, your school zoning. Okay. So the higher your property tax is, probably the better school that you have. That's how that's done. It's not that you're, please go put it in Google and research it. Okay. Thank you so much. $39 trillion. And he signed an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education. And you ask why? Right? You ask why? Well, let me break it down to you. Okay. So number one, they want to go on a voucher system, right? And this way, the rich can send their children to the better schools. And it leaves what is left of the middle class and the working poor left with scraps. They also want to, special needs children, they want to give parents a check to send their children wherever they want to go. The rich can already send their kids to, but see, they want to do a voucher program, so it makes it harder for other people that does have money to send their children there. It's a way to do it, okay? And also receive tax credit for it. But that's another issue for another day. For special education, they want to give a check, let's say a $5,000 check to the parent to send their child to a special institution. Guess who's going to run these special institutions? Not people that are professionals in this, but grifters who, because they're already trying to push to go back to yesteryear's time where children, special need children and adults were locked away in these homes and had no high quality of life. They're already using this system to say that if your child that is disabled lives in your household and has their own room, they're going to tax that. Also, they're cutting the funding, Medicaid, to take care of our disabled friends. And see, with that voucher program, say they give a parent money, they send them off to this school where they're just sitting in these classrooms doing nothing. There's no oversight. There's no regulation. There's no standards. And there's also, because of what he's doing, it also makes it very hard for anybody to complain about the quality of care. And that's what's wrong. Yes, I'm a mother of a special needs child. My son does not attend public school. He goes to a private academy. But I vetted this private academy to see if this is somewhere that he could be. Now, unfortunately, a lot of parents don't have that time or those opportunities or resources to find those things out, right? Or the knowledge base. Some are raising multiple children, working multiple jobs at the same time to keep a roof over their head. because it's not like they're going to help us raise the children that did not ask for the disability that they have. Okay? Because here's the thing, we have to take them to multiple appointments throughout the week. We have to drive to get them there. We have to make sure they have everything that they need. We have to leave work to do these things. When our child is not having a not so good day, we have to show up and may miss work to be the support system that our child needs. Whether it's a one-parent household, two-parent household, whether grandma, grandparents are stepping in, aunties and uncles stepping in, please. I wasn't complaining. Listen, Yumi, I wasn't complaining about being able to send your kids somewhere. What it is, the voucher system is rigged so that everybody doesn't have the same opportunity. That's the problem. That's the problem. Either come in here, educate with an educated assessment, or you can actually get out. It's really that simple. I don't mind having an educated debate, but my moderators will escort you out of here. Hey, Tebe. Matter of fact, moderators, can y'all get that one out of here? Because their listening skills aren't up to par. And here we listen and we have an educated debate, not an illiterate one. So can y'all take care of Yumi and send them somewhere where maybe it would be the content that they support better? I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. But they are dismantling the Department of Education in front of our very own eyes. So our children that live in areas that are the poor working, thank you so much, that are the poor working class will not be afforded a higher quality of education. Right, BJ. Will not have a higher quality of education. The classes will be overcrowded. They will not have the supplies because they're already part of gutting the Department of Education is pointed at our Title I schools, decreasing their funding. Because what they know is an educated people is more progressive people, and it is a collective of thinkers. Yes, educated people are not better, they just think better. They process their choices and the consequences of everything a lot better. That's why it's important to be educated. Oh yes, the children are our future, but they're trying to dismantle it. Right, they are dismantling it right in front of our very own eyes, starting with this guy. They're also stripping away the loan limits that degree holders, nursing degree, teachers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, they are decreasing. They're putting a cap on what you can borrow. And what happens is now it's not going to help fund our nurses and doctors and lawyers and teachers. People are going to have to come out of pocket or borrow. Here's really what they want you to do. They want to set it up to where you have to borrow from these private agencies that are their friends, where they are have these enormous interest rates, where you're really in debt. Because I want to show y'all something. Let me find it for you. I know I took a screenshot of this because I wanted y'all to see this. We have a list of things. Maybe it's up here. a list of things. BJ, talk about it. Talk about it. Because, okay, let me give y'all a lesson really quick while I look for this. Hey, Rainy Plus, let me give y'all a lesson really quick. Okay, who knows who Rothschild is? I think everybody knows who that. So schools have not been around that long. Let's go back to World War, World War II, right? Remember, women had to go to work because the men were going overseas to fight, right? Okay. So women used to be in the home to take care of the children, to go grocery shopping and do all those things, right? Well, now that the men were fighting in wars, there had to be a place for children to go. So they created public schools, but they created public schools around an 8-hour workday to pretty much prepare them for what it is to go work in factories. Okay. Not to go to school, not to further their education, but to work in factories. So women then had to go get an 8-hour job. And if you notice in school, they have break times and they have lunch times, pretty much similar to going in the workforce at a factory. So it's either you're going to go into the military and fight for your country, or you're going to go work in a factory and be a laborer. And if you were lucky, you might have been one of the chosen few to be a doctor, a midwife, something like that. Right? So that's how the public school system and the public school schedule was created, because they needed somewhere for the child to go. That's how we got here to begin with. And if you talk to any real educator, 8 hours in a school, sitting at a desk is really not the way to learn. Learning is through exploration. Learning is through exposure. And every child learns different. Even me, when I'm studying for my LSAT, I can't study in the same place all the time. I have to change it up. It was our bodies and our minds aren't built that way. That's why you see more people pulling their children out of public schools and putting them in alternative learning spaces, because they realize that learning is just not sitting at a desk and copying down exactly and preparing for a statewide mandated test, a standardized test. Because a standardized test does not measure how smart your child is. Y'all know why standardized test was even created, right? Standardized test was created to keep the Black kids away from excelling. The ACT, I keep telling y'all this, the ACT, the LSAT, the bar exam, the medical exam, all of this was set up so that Black folks couldn't get a quality education. They would be held back. They would be this, they would be that. Hell, it was even illegal for us to read and write not too long ago. And that's why HBCUs are so important. And that's why HBCUs were created, for a space for us to come and be accepted and have a higher learning. But I don't know nothing, right? But this is why public schools exist. This is why the school schedule exists, because they need some place for the children to go and for the parent to go work. It is a cycle. It has always been a cycle. It is a cycle to keep the working class working class. So they want to produce more laborers than they want to produce entrepreneurs, then they want to produce thinkers. Because if you're a laborer, you're less likely to revolt and push against the system, because you're looking at it like, listen, I've got to work to make ends meet. And granted, we do have to work to make ends meet, but come on here. There is a better, higher quality of life that is out there that we can obtain. Because look at these other countries, Switzerland, Bali, Europe. Hell, do y'all know Mexico just passed universal health care? Canada has universal health care, and their kids go to college for free because they start them off young, and the government deposits money into an account until they graduate high school. And then when they graduate high school, that money is there for them to go to college. Y'all know it's not real. While y'all over there, oh, we gotta protect Israel. We gotta protect Israel. Guess what? They folks got universal health care. Iran do too. We over there meddling in their business and talking about what's right and wrong with them. Meanwhile, they getting education and health care. And we can't even get that. You go over Western medicine is so much more superior. You go over there to Europe, or as you see people going to Turkey to go get a full body exam. And they only paying like $2,500. And I'm talking about full body. They talking about a full panel. They getting MRIs, CTs, and it takes like 3 days to do everything. This is dental work, eyes, it's all of that. We are so far behind because of our capitalist nation, our racist nation. Okay? Because let's not forget they experimented on Black folk bodies. Reason why they don't believe us when we're in pain. This is why the mortality rate is so high. Maternal mortality rate is so high. Their quality of life. Europe over there, you get like 2 months of vacation. They got 4-day work weeks. If you have a kid, you get a year off, and that's a year off per parent. We're completely wrong. It is absolutely absurd. This is why people are angry. This is why people are sick. This is why people are mentally unstable. We don't even take care of our veterans when they come back. But yet they want to tell, oh, we're here for America. We're going to take care of our veterans. What about the ones that have mental issues that are walking around here and homeless? What about the veterans now that are losing their home because Trump did away with the bill for veterans? What about the veterans, okay, that have lost their health care coverage or can't get a job because you're dismantling all these federal agencies and things like that? So like, y'all crazy as hell. When I look at people, oh, we've got to protect Israel. Israel got things that we don't even have. And y'all want to fight for that? If y'all don't get the hell up out of here. Meanwhile, it costs us $30,000 to have children, but you go over there to Europe, it's only about $3,000 to have kids. The math don't math. It don't even, it's not even sounding right. It's not even sounding right. There is no reason why the average rent right now is like $2,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment. And they talking about you got to make 3 times as much. People that are making 6 figures are barely getting by now. Okay. Interest. Did y'all see what they're doing with cars? Cars now will have a kill switch in your car. And will also have cameras to monitor you. We're about to become a surveillance state. They think China is surveilled. Oh, buddy. And this is why new cars are not going to sell. New cars are not going to sell because nobody wants to be surveilled like this. But this is what happened when you put people like this in office who want to control everything. Because they look at America and they're like, oh my God, America is becoming more and more brown every day. And here's another thing. We are the majority, but because a lot of people don't fill out the census the way that they need to, we don't have the numbers to show. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, I'm on a soapbox. There's no reason why I can go get a full panel. I'm talking about full body work over there in Turkey for $2,500 and come over here is $50,000. And most of the insurance won't even cover certain stuff. Y'all saw what happened to United Healthcare and why that man got his head popped back off. Yes, you better take your census. Your census dictates your voting districts. The census dictates what money is funneled through what. The census dictates so much. Why do y'all think Obama did a census? Because he needed to see what was going on where, and people still not filling it out correctly. I don't even understand. It affects your school zoning. It affects so many more things than just we need to know the numbers. But I digress. I digress, yeah. I got. Meanwhile, it is very important. Very important. But meanwhile, we got this going on. We talking about education, right? Where my Jewish people at? How y'all feel about this? You got New Hampshire GOP lawmaker talking about they want to teach schools that the Holocaust was a hoax. The same way they're saying slavery makes white people feel bad. Y'all can't make this shit up. I'm trying to tell y'all. And this is what Making America Great Again is for, right? This is what Making America Great Again. And then this man is over here tweeting. Let's read it together. This is what he's putting up. He's saying, assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary epic fury will be at an end. And the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all. Wait a minute. The Strait of Hormuz was already open to all. The Strait of Hormuz was already open to all. And also, this comment right here, that's one of the things that definitely needs to stay in history class. Absolutely. But see, they don't teach slavery the way slavery should be taught. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I can go further and further and further and further down this rabbit hole here. Yes, ma'am. Raise your hand if y'all knew that the Strait of Hormuz was already open. And by the way, Donald Trump wants to name it the Strait of Trump. Okay. He wants to rename it the Strait of Trump. Okay. Well, raise your hand if you knew if you knew that the strait was already open to all before he decided to bomb it. I'll go first. He says, if they don't agree, the bombing starts. Here we go again. The bombing starts. And it will be sadly at a much higher level and intensity than it was before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Y'all, do y'all know that this war is costing us like $1 billion a day, damn near? Let that sink in. They can find money for that bullshit. Something we should have never entered into. Because first of all, they should have never ripped up the peace agreement that the Obama administration had, because that's what they're trying to go back to. You should have never ripped it up, because pretty much it would be 20 years before Iran could have did anything. And then in 20 years, they would have revisited and re-signed it. Okay. But instead, bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Instead, we align with a country. Look at this. Oh, yes, that is girl. They worried about student loans that other countries have free. Listen, I'm looking at, girl, don't even get me started. Barack Obama was still paying on student loans when he became president. Michelle Obama was still paying student loans when she became first lady. Jasmine Crockett is still paying on her student loans, and she's a sitting congresswoman. Come on, somebody. Obama lives rent-free in his head, and he'll never measure up. Okay. But anyway, we decide to align ourselves to Is Not Real, who has committed genocide in Gaza. I just want y'all to look at this. Okay. Look at this. Just look at this. This is where people lived. These are hospitals. These are schools. These are stores. These are restaurants. These are hotels. Just look at this. And this is who we decided to align ourselves with, because this is the goal, because they want to take over Gaza. We heard him say it. He wants to make a beautiful resort on that strip of Gaza. Is Not Real wants to expand their borders. So what do? We bomb the fuck out of them. We bomb them so much that they have to flee their own country because there's really no real place to live. Just look at this. This is what they want to do. This is disgusting. This is sad. This is genocide in front of our very own eyes. They have plummeted what Gaza looked like. And if y'all have ever been to the Middle East has some of the most beautiful beaches that you will ever see. Seriously. Matter of fact, let me find it for you. Hold, please. Gaza beaches before the war. The Middle East has some of the most beautiful beaches, okay? Like, I'm talking, we're talking a lively place. Yeah. I just want you guys to see this. We're talking about a beautiful, beautiful place. Give me just a second. I'm going to show you guys this. It is all about control. It is all about control. I want y'all to see what Gaza used to look like. And your mouth is going to drop. Hold on. Let me get it bigger for you guys. Just look.
I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site.
Look how beautiful that was. Please do not let the media fool you and say, oh, they're a impoverished country. Do they have things that they need to work on? Absolutely. But look how beautiful these beaches are. Just look at this.
غزة كانت المكان المفضل لي قبل الحرب. غزة كانت مليئة بالأماكن الجميلة جدا، مثل شاطئ البحر والكافيتريات على شاطئ البحر والكورنيش. غزة المكان اللي كان المفضل للجميع. الشوارع في المساء كانت جميلة جدا، المباني جميلة جدا، البيوت الدافئة كانت جميلة جدا.
نحن قاعدين في أرضنا هنا وصامدين، بده يعمر مش حجة إنه يطلعنا برا وبحجة إنه يعمرنا. طب ما أنت من الأساس أنت اللي ساعدت إسرائيل على الدمار اللي إحنا شايفينه هذا.
then they did something much different than what you were hearing.
احنا بنحكي لترامب ولرئيس امريكا ولرؤساء دول العالم بالجميع بخصوص الشعب الفلسطيني متجذر بارضه وثابت كثبات شجر الزيتون. لن نتخلى عن ارض غزه.
غزة القديمة جميلة جدا أيضا. غزة كانت مليئة بالحياة قبل الحرب، الحياة الجميلة، الحياة التي كان يحبها.
And let me point out that when these things happen, this is how radicalists are developed. This is how radicals are developed. This is how extremists are developed, because they become so angry. Because how do you have the right to tell people that they cannot have their own state? Because you don't believe in what they believe in. You believe that your life, your way of life, is superior to their life. Because right now, Is Not Real believes they're more superior than Palestine, and that Palestinians should not have their own state. Why not? Why not? This is what they want. This is also what they're doing to Iran. Hey, this is also what they're doing to Iran. They're also doing this to Iran. And I'm going to show you guys, give me just a second, what Iran used to look like before the bombing. Iran is a beautiful country too. Iran is a beautiful country too. Don't let them fool you about Iran. Do not let them fool you about Iran. Iran is absolutely gorgeous. Iran is actually on a list of places that I would like to visit. But they want us to think that these places are not beautiful, that these places are just run down. Look at this.
Iran is one of the most misunderstood countries on earth. Some people think it's just desert. Others imagine only politics and headlines.
Look at the architecture.
But the reality? It's something entirely different.
Look at this.
Iran is a place where ancient civilizations left behind impossible architecture, where volcanoes rise above emerald forests, and where islands bleed red into the sea. In this video, we're going to explore the most incredible places in Iran. But before we get to the locations, there are some facts you need to hear, because they'll completely change how you see this country.
Look at the beaches.
And some of them are so surprising, even most Iranians don't know them.
Look at the beaches.
Let's start with something extreme. Iran is home to the lake.
Look at this. You're not going to tell me that this is not beautiful. Look at this.
It's one of the reasons Iran's ancient cities were able to thrive in dry regions long before modern plumbing. But modern Iran isn't stuck in the past. The capital, Tehran, is home to over 13 million people and has one of the...
They've got a metro system, folks. Please don't let the media fool y'all and make you think it's nothing but sand dunes and these people running around barefooted walking around. It's a whole lot of money there. It is absolutely breathtaking.
Busiest metro systems in the Middle East. It's a city of paradoxes, where women in colorful hijabs walk past glass skyscrapers and where street food vendors sell saffron rice beside high-end malls. Iran also. Nearby is Chaku Canyon,
Just look
a
at this.
narrow sandstone gorge carved into deep passageways. 80 miles,
Look,
130 kilometers long,
look at this.
remains mostly untouched by mass tourism.
And yes, it snows there.
People
Look.
have lived for thousands of years, using only mud, brick, and brilliant design to survive the desert. Kerman might look quiet on the surface, but it's the gateway to some of the most bizarre landscapes in Iran.
Y'all get the picture. These places are not destitute. Like they're not destitute. And here's another thing. Look at the architecture there before they had architectural engineering. Same way Egypt, how their tombs are still, how those pyramids are still there. I wonder why. And let's not forget, Egypt is in Africa. I wish people would stop thinking it was in East Asia. Yes, they're teaching in some places that Egypt is a part of East Asia, and it is not. Egypt is an African country. Those pyramids were built how many years ago? This shows you how smart these folks are. They're not dumb. They're not radical. You have your radicals there. We have our radicals here, the KKK. But this is a beautiful country. Gaza was a beautiful country. You go to the UAE, a beautiful country. You cannot listen to all the propaganda. They try to make us think that this is a third world country where they need help. They need us to come bomb everything and dismantle everything and need our help to revitalize everything when they already have their own system in play that is actually proven to work. This is why we got to get out of the United States. Like, it's so much more than the United States. It's so much more than just the Caribbean islands. It's so much more than just than London, Paris, Italy. It is so much more than that. The Middle East has some of the most beautiful, absolutely jaw-dropping. Listen, don't even get me started. Please don't get me started. Like, you even got, I'm gonna show y'all something, because this is on my bucket list. This is on my bucket list to go to. Okay, this is on my bucket list to go to, and you would never believe where it is. You're never gonna believe where it is. But this is on my bucket list of places to go. Correct. And mind y'all, all of these places they talk about in the Bible, but I digress. But take a look at this. This is Saudi Arabia. Okay. This is Saudi, and Muslims is Saudi Arabia. Y'all, just please look at this. Look. I mean, come on. We do have a lot of laws and right angles, but the beauty of look at this. But they want us to think that some of these areas are not like want us to think that these areas are like destitute. They want us to believe that these areas are run down, like all of these things. They have fresh food. They have, guys, I mean, immaculate. Some of the most beautiful places that you'll go. I'm so serious. And this is why education is so important. This is why exposure is so important. Because with this, knowledge is power, and knowledge is the gateway, is the key to want to explore more than just your city. The Middle East is immaculate. But they want us to believe that it's nothing but terrorists running, when really, this is a terrorist right here. Okay? We got a homegrown one right here. Okay? We got one who, Lord have mercy, they want to call Sleepy Joe. But this man, I just want y'all to see something. This man right here, hold on 1 second. We got this guy right here. Oh, Lord Jesus. He's talking about it's a small price to pay. High gas. This is what we got over here.
Wait, go ahead, finish
Yeah,
it.
gas prices in the United States are $1.48 cents a gallon.
Well,
You said they would come back down.
Oh, they will.
Will Project
They'll drop
Freedom-
lower than they were before.
Will Project Freedom, supporting those ships, make that happen?
Well, it will, because, so people don't realize some of these tankers hold 2 million barrels. One of them holds 4, I think it's the largest one in the world. That sucker is big. I've never seen anything like it, a ship. It's bigger than aircraft carriers. And yeah, it has a big impact. It's so much.
We got stupid shit like this going on. We got, oh God, mercy, Jesus. We got, just look at this. They call him Sleepy Joe, but look at this man right here, okay?
Americans compete with each other in a friendly, congenial way, and to help each other get in shape so that we can prepare for a great future that this administration is going to provide for this country. Percent of adults are obese or overweight, and 77%.
He sleep. 1 minute he sleep, the next minute he's awake. You know how older people, the elderly, be taking them cat naps and they sit up in that chair in the living room? You know how they sit up? Girl, he was selected and not elected, baby. We could get into that, okay? Because if you notice, all of the swing states, he won literally right above the threshold of triggering a recount. Clock it. But anyway, pay attention. You know how old people, they be sitting in that chair in the living room in their favorite seat with the TV playing or whatever, and they sit over there and they slump over and they go to sleep for a second, and they be asleep for about 15 minutes. They get their cat nap and they will be like, I heard everything you said, and da 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 da. That's what he doing. Look at him. He sleep 1 minute and awake the next, nodding and don't even know what he's talking about. You right, it's gobble, gobble, turkey talk. This shit is insane. Meanwhile, you got Candace Owens releasing receipts of Charlie Kirk saying he felt like somebody was going to take him out of here. Says, anyway, I'm not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the peace God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TP USA, Turning Point USA. I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time. Like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing convo for another time. This is why Erica Griff, that's her name, instead of Erica Kirk, it's Erica Griff, because I've never seen a widow be so excited after her husband's head got popped back. But this is where we are, people. This is exactly where we are. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly where we are. This is exactly where we are. And for those that travel, JetBlue says the airline is headed towards bankruptcy. Also, United Airlines said that they're raising their airfare by 20%. Also on yesterday, you can see the demon in Erica's eyes, baby. But remember, she was a pageant girl for Trump's pageants and worked for one of the modeling agencies. You know, you got to watch out for them folks. But anyway, Delta and American Airlines had to cancel thousands of flights yesterday because the cost of fuel, and they are stating, you know, they need to fill up the, they don't need empty seats. And when there's a certain number of empty seats, they're going to cancel those flights because they need the seats. They don't want to run a plane that's not full to capacity. Let me get my words together. Okay. So JetBlue is about to be the next go. They have accumulated $8 billion in debt. They said another $1.3 billion just this year. They said Frontier is headed towards bankruptcy as well. So you want to talk about, folks, this is the beginning of the economy has already crashed, but this is the beginning of the levees bursting. Okay, this is the beginning of the levees breaking. Also, there's been an alert out for Louisiana because they are stating that Louisiana will be taken over by the Gulf of Mexico shortly. And the levees are not going to levy enough. And they're trying to move people ahead of it because there's not an economic growth in Louisiana. It just isn't. Part of that is because who they have in office there, but I digress. There are so many things that are going on that we're not aware of because they're simply not talking about it, because the headlines are forever changing. Every 2 hours, there's a new headline because this administration knows how to change the topics because they always doing some dumb shit. You understand? They're always doing something dumb. Always doing something dumb. And I will read it verbatim about Louisiana. I believe I took a screenshot of it earlier. Yes, I did. It says, within a few decades, New Orleans could be swallowed by the Gulf of Mexico. Louisiana coast loses about a football field worth of land every 100 minutes. Scientists are calling for a coordinated effort to help the city's 360,000 residents gradually and safely relocate to a new area. Okay. This is what they're stating about, what's the name? Louisiana. Also, I have a tracker here, tracking Trump's war on American education. Let me see if I can get this up on the, what's the name? Let me get this up on the board for us. I want you guys to see it really quick. Let me remove this. I want you guys to see this real quick because we're tracking. We are taking note. Where is it? Where did it go? Here it is. We were talking about education. One, he signed an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education. He said teachers have been brainwashed. Melania, tight-faced Melania, the porn star herself. Trump touted the possibility of AI teachers replacing humans. Also, they're trying to cut $2 billion in funding for educators' professional development, and is trying to cut federal grants for education programs by $4.6 billion. Let that sink in. Also, since we're tracking what we are spending here, okay, and then after this, I'm gonna be out of here. But since we are tracking things of cost, I just want to leave you guys with this really quick. Here's the percentage of everything that has went up. Hey, Barn Dog. This is a percentage of everything that has went up by percent. So I know we went through a small list earlier, but here is a broader list. But we do know what's not going up is your paycheck. Fuel is up 44.2%. Orange juice is up 25%. Coffee is up 18%. Hospital services up 6%. Auto repair 6%. Dining out 4%. Vegetables and fruit 4%. Rent is up 3%. Apparel is up 3%. All of these things are going up. Ever since this man is taken office, and we know that it's going to continue to get higher. So buckle up, Buttercup. Get ready, and get ready. That is all I can say is get ready. And it's also been noted that the White House is gearing up for all of the hearings that are about to happen because they see the walls closing in on them, because they see that their own voter base is revolting. And it is going to be a blue tsunami, not a blue wave. It is going to be a blue tsunami, because here is the telltale. When you start to see mayors flip, what does that mean? That means districts will then flip. Okay. Districts equal counties. And it just goes further and further and further up the line. Okay. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. I hope you guys learned something today. Okay. I hope you guys learned something today, especially about the Middle East and how beautiful it actually is and how we're dismantling them ourselves. For power and for minerals, because that's what's over there is resources, minerals, natural things that we want to have. And we want to demonize Middle Eastern community to be erratic, to be not smart, uneducated. America is trying to paint them, and we know why, because they're brown. They're brown. Okay. Because we're brown. If you have not liked or subscribed, please do so now. Okay. Please, if you have it in you to donate to the little coffee fund here that I have going on by sending a super chat or a cash app to the $, the real K Fit. Okay. Yeah, he's tearing it down, ain't he? That's for sure. But thank you for attending Politics in Plain English. We talk current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means for you. And remember, keep your head above water and stay in the know. And until tomorrow, I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support. I appreciate you, and have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.